Ladies and gentlemen, he is the greatest punter that ever lived. He is Shane Leckler. We will get him high center. You know what, fellas? We may need to, I don't know. Maybe we need, is this what we need to do? Is this what we need to do right
There we
here?
go.
Do we need to get a little Shane Leckler on, just right on top there? What up, Mr. Leckler? How are you?
Hey, you see that Longhorn in the background?
Oh, come on.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
That's how we hang them.
Well,
hey, if
Wow.
you're going to hang them low.
Yeah.
well.
I hope it falls every morning I walk down here.
So Shane, we
God.
got to say we appreciate you coming on into what could be slightly called enemy territory, although our main host Chad is a graduate, so there is some maroon in our ranks. But you were brought to us by your cousin Ty Harrington, who we appreciate him getting us connected to you, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
I just got off the phone with Todd probably 5 minutes ago. He's doing all right, man. Miss that guy. I ain't seen him in a minute.
So Shane, let everybody know. Bo was telling us that there was some yard work going on with some breaks today. Late breaking news. How did the yard work go? How'd everything come out?
Yard work went well. Got the weeds pulled as many as I wanted to. I took plenty of breaks, and then smoked a pork buck, and just had a few beers. I mean, it's just a normal day. I don't know what you guys did, but that's what I did.
And as we could see, what are you drinking on a Wednesday? Is a little Miller Lite tonight? Is that?
I drink Miller Lite usually every night. I mean,
Okay.
that's my choice. I used to drink back before all the issues, before all the bullshit. I drank Bud Light, but so did all my friends, and my friends forgot to buy, so they would never buy Bud Light, and so they would come down to Rockport and get on the boat, and they would just start drinking my beer. And I was like, well, fuck, let me find something they don't like, and none of them like Miller Lite, so there it went in the cooler.
That's a good plan. That's a good way to do it.
I'm telling you, I was a Miller Lite drinker all through college, but it was only because of Rusty Wallace. And when Rusty Wallace retired, I said, fuck this shit. I'm going to go to something different. And I ended up on the Bud Light train just out of protest from Rusty leaving.
Hey, everybody's got a reason, but I'll tell you what, if it's cold, I'll take it. I don't discriminate from anything. Shiner Bach down there in Shiner, Texas, those guys got some good shit, man.
That is good stuff. That is good stuff. Chance, why don't we start? We'll start player to player. What do you got for Shane Leckler tonight?
So, Shane, the first thing is, number one, even as a Longhorn, watching you, it was a blast watching you. I've never seen somebody be able to have as much impact on a game from your position as anybody out there. So it's a thrill to talk to you. Let's bring this whole rivalry back into it. You and I both played in it. It meant a lot. Now there's been so much time off that it really drives me nuts. I feel like it's part of Texas is you have Thanksgiving and you pick a side. You're either orange or you're maroon, right? And to finally have it coming back, how excited are you?
I mean, you remember it like I did. Like when you went to high school, when you were elementary or junior high, recess, are you a Longhorn or an Aggie? That's how you played recess. That's how we played recess. Mm-hmm. I mean, it didn't matter. Like that's how the team got divided. Who's Longhorns, who's Aggies? It wasn't two team captains pick. We didn't have time for that shit. There was only 45-minute recess. So whoever's on A&M, Aggie, or like the Aggies, the Longhorns, that's how we went. And it didn't matter. And believe it or not, I was on the other side the whole time. You can ask Ty, you can ask anybody. My bedroom was painted burnt orange and white. I wanted to go play baseball for Cliff, and that's all I wanted to do. And anyways, let's get back to it. We'll get back to this later. But as far as this game coming back to not only the state of Texas, but to the United States, this is the best. I don't give a shit. They can say Michigan, Ohio State. They can say whatever they want to. You want to get a rivalry back, this is the one. The saddest thing ever happened in college football is generations missed this. My kids don't even know what this means. Mm-hmm. And that is such bullshit because that should have never stopped. If you look at Florida State, well, that's SEC, ACC. They play every year. we should have found a way to do it. And it really irritated me so bad whenever they said nope and we pulled off. I was mad at A&M just as like I was mad at Texas. I was mad at both. I'm like, you got to figure this out. This is bullshit because you're taking all of those awkward Thanksgivings are now just going to be awkward all day. At least you could have a badass football game in the middle of them.
Somebody got to have a good Thanksgiving. Somebody got to have a bad Thanksgiving. Oh,
There's
man.
some hella drinking games that come out of it, though. I can promise you that.
No,
Oh, man, I did the old Taylor Swift one on Super Bowl. It's like, geez, all right. Got Patron every time. Luckily, she only showed up 5 times in the freaking game when I was watching.
So, Shane, since you're mentioning the rivalry, for people that don't realize the time frame, you were at A&M 96-99. So, by my count, that's 2-2 in that game. Give me a story from both sides. Give me a story from how great it was to win and a story from how bad it was to lose.
Well, like the game when Ricky broke the record in Austin, you know, like you don't want to be part of history, but you're part of history. That was awesome. I knew Ricky, didn't know Ricky. Like who really knows Ricky? You know, I mean, I got to know him.
Does Ricky know Ricky?
Hi to him, you know, like. But you know, watching that game go down, and you know, it was a rainy day in Austin, and he breaks like 3 tackles, busts the record up there, and that was awesome. But the one that really, really, really goes down in my mind, and I think most of the guys that we played against, like Studdard and all those guys. The game at A&M after the bonfire fell when the University of Texas came out and played our fight song, it really wasn't a rivalry anymore. It was kind of like a brotherhood. Like, let's all stick together. Man, that one meant a lot to me because I was going in my senior year, and that was me like, all right, we got this. You know, A&M, we're going to get through this. And it damn sure helps to have the friendship of the guys in Austin. And I don't want to get sentimental on the whole thing because it's still a freaking rivalry football game. And for us to come up and win it at the end, I'm not taking anything away from you guys, but, I mean, we did send over food poisoning to Major Applewhite and make sure he got sick that night. And we got to face Sims instead, which was a little bit easier. Don't want to bust his bubble. He's on ESPN probably tonight. He'll talk shit about me after he sees this, but it's okay. Anyways, that's just how that whole thing went down. Loved it.
Well, that's the difference between a rivalry with hatred and a rivalry that's like a brotherhood like you described. It's like big brother and little brother fighting, and I'm not saying which goes into which corner. The one thing both Aggies and Longhorns can agree on is that Texas Tech can eat a bag of dicks, and so can Oklahoma. We'll fight each other, and we'll go wrestle each other in the front yard, but we don't like the other ones because they're just petty and stupid. At least we have a basis for our rivalry.
I agree. If I got hit by one more fucking tortilla down in Lubbock, I would swear I would never go back to that city again. As a matter of fact, one of my kids was getting recruited by them, and my oldest daughter to go play softball. I'm like, I don't care if they give you the entire city, you're not going. You can go to University of Texas all you want. You can go do whatever you want. We ain't going to Lubbock.
My kids, you could ask Razor to this day. I've told them since the day they were born, I will, whatever it takes, I will pay for you to go to whatever school you want to go to when you go to college. As expensive as it is, how many jobs I have to take. If you want to go to the University of Oklahoma, you better get a full ride because I ain't giving them sons of bitches one penny.
You know, Shane, I've been telling these Longhorn fans that they are not going to miss playing Texas Tech at all. Would you agree with me in the time the Aggies haven't been playing Tech? Have you missed it at all?
Man, I'll tell you, that is a tough place to play, man. And I had one of my RC Slocum, if you ever guys get him on the show, he can tell you that I got hosed on that deal. Corey Pullick was our starting quarterback at the time. I was a freshman. And that week during practice, RC was like, hey, Shane, you're going to be a starting quarterback going to Lubbock. I'm like, all right, sweet, against Zach Thomas and probably the best middle linebacker in the country at the time. This will be fun. And I go and take all the 1 reps the whole week. Tell my mom and dad, hey, y'all go to Lubbock. That's my first start. Boom, here we go. I'm going to go down here, and we're going to see what happens. My parents, of course, they don't fly. They're teachers. They drive, and they drive all the way, and they're like halfway there. We go to the airport. I'm on the team bus, and I get off the team bus, and RC goes, we're going to redshirt you. You're going to stay here.
Wow.
I called my dad. I said, hey, Dad, you got to turn around.
How'd you get a hold of? We didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
No, I called. There was the old flip phone, or somebody. No. They had that one that was on the floor that had the cord.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They had that one. But the funny thing is, I had to page them, and they had to call me back.
Oh my
I'll
God.
never get that. So I paged them, and mom always said, like, hey, if you really need us, just page 911, and we'll call you right back as soon as we can get somewhere to go. So it was a pager. They called me from a gas station. I said, hey, y'all might as well turn your ass around. It ain't going down this week.
Wow. So that's what, 95?
That was 95, and I redshirted that year.
That was Byron Hanspard, and they had Zebby Lethridge.
Yep.
They were a good football team back then.
Yeah, and Zach, and then Corey throws a pick, and then, I'm not saying I love Corey. Deer Park guy, whatever. But I thought I could have done, at least had fun.
Hey, so wow. Shane, I got to say, and these guys know it, to me, R.C. Slocum is, and Mac Brown's my favorite coach. I love playing for him, but I have so much respect for R.C. Slocum, more than any coach that recruited me, any coach I ever played for prior or post college. And there's a reason for it, and it's not a story for the interwebs. But when I look at RC and what he embodied, he was A&M. He embodied it. He was the fans loved him. The players, you bought into what he did because what he was selling was true. It wasn't an act. Why has A&M not been able to find the guy that fits that bill at A&M?
Well, I think it comes down to the whole. So after RC was fired, we hired the guy from TCU,
Fran.
I'll be honest, that's a huge dip, and for us. And then when you do a huge dip like that, it takes you time to build. And then Sumlin came, and you got Johnny, do all that. And then I think with Elko right now, we got Elko. To be honest, Nick Saban just got out of college coaching. I don't think you could hand me the fucking job right now.
Yeah.
Because there's too many things going on. You got one, once you get a kid on campus, now you got to only sign him. Now you got to keep recruiting the same kid that you signed. It's unlike when me and you came in. You got to recruit him all the way till he graduates. But you also got to recruit his replacement. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't like this whole NIL deal, man. I don't know. But you can watch it. Look at Sark. Hell, I played against Sark. And I played, and he coached the Raiders when I was in Oakland. Sark looks 40 years older than you did then. I'm like, God damn it, Sark.
Well, but Shane, don't you feel like, is it not turning into, you spend a lot of time in the league, and these guys know the NFL is my favorite, but it's becoming the NFL from the standpoint of every year you've got free agents turning over. You're trying to contract extension, restructure things. Like, you really don't know. You know a lot of who's coming back, but you're always looking for the replacement.
Well, I mean, it is. And then all of a sudden you got these guys that are probably a 5th round, 4th round grade. They're going to take a pay cut. And God forbid when they learn what taxes are. Because I don't know if anybody's teaching them that part of it. So I don't know, man. It's a tough sled. I mean, these college coaches these days, I'm like, God dang it, man. It's almost just like be straight up honest with them and say, listen, if you're not good enough, get the hell out of here. If you're good enough, you can play here and build that university. Don't pay them. Let's see how you perform first. And I'm good friends with Dion, and he's up in Colorado, and Deion did the whole spill, like threw it all out there to everybody. And I'm like, God damn, Deion. And he went in there and like cut damn near everybody and brought in 80-something or 60-something new players. But you can do that, but you can only do that so long. Like right now, I think there is zero substance. There's a lot of flash in this whole thing, and it's still brand new to everybody, but there's zero substance. And I never thought I would give, Lane Kiffin credit, but Lane coached me in Oakland for a couple years, and I was like, God damn it, Lane, this is a little above you. But what Lane's done down there and what he has said is actually dead on. He's like, dude, I don't know if we can sustain this. And I looked at it, drinking beer with some buddies at the campfire the other night at the deer lease when I tried to get on with you guys and it all fell through. But I told them, I was like, listen, if I was the SEC commissioner, I'd pull out of the NCAA. I'd pull out. I'd make my own thing and say, you keep your NCAA rules over here because we're going to break them all anyways. So just keep your whatever everybody else wants to play, whatever you want to play, and let's just make us a 24-team deal. All of a sudden, then you bring in Michigan State and Ohio State, and you make 24 teams. Break all the rules you want because they're broken anyways.
But it's almost like the NFL and college have flip-flopped, right? In the NFL, you'd get all these rookie quarterbacks that would come out and sign for $25 million. Well, then they finally put a cap on the rookie pay, right?
Yeah.
Well, now high school, they're coming in, they haven't proven shit, and they're already making all their money. It's almost like we flipped.
We did. Jamarcus Russell got signed by the Raiders for about damn near $90 million.
Started how many games?
Yeah. I punted 12 times a game whenever he played.
We're talking with Shane Lechler on The Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho. Jason Dick, what do you got for Shane Lechler?
Shane, thanks for being on the show. I want you to know that you're making Outsiders history tonight. I'm not positive that you're the first Aggie that we've had, probably so, but you are definitely the first punter that we have had on the program. Not exactly the most glamorous position. No disrespect, 19 years in the league, and I just looked, $34.8 million in career earnings. That's before all that sweet punter endorsement money. I just want to know, when did you find out that you had the gift? When did you learn, hey, I have what it takes to be the greatest punter of all time? How did you choose punter?
My junior year in college. We were in training camp junior year in college. It was weird, ran a bootleg Tiki Hardeman, booted out of it, and pulled my quad on my kicking leg. And it was just, I slipped, and boom, it was like fourth day in the camp. And I was like, God dang it, now I can't kick, and now I can't, the quarterback stuff, I'm fighting for that job, and I wanted that job bad. And I wanted to play quarterback. It's hard coming from high school, from a 2A high school where I came from, where I punted, I kicked, I played quarterback, I played outside linebacker, I returned punts, I returned kicks. I came off the field for kickoff return. That's the only time.
Wow.
To go into college and playing 5 snaps, I'm like, God dang, man, this sucks. And but my junior year on a bootleg, boom, I'll never forget it. Our practice fields were under construction. We were on a new field, boom, I slipped, tore my quad, and I tore it pretty bad. And then I go through rehab. I'm trying to make the opener, and RC comes in. And he's like, hey, no, he didn't come in. He called me to his office, and I went to him. And so I go up to his office. He's like, Shane, I want you just to concentrate on punting. And I freaking about lost my shit. I was like, dude, he's serious? You're going to go with a good friend of mine. But, I mean, he was a good quarterback, Brandon Stewart, who transferred to us from Tennessee. And he's like, you know what? Just concentrate on punting and doing this. And I just like, dude, all right, I'm going to go across the tracks and go play baseball for Coach Johnson instead of doing this, And that day he was like, Shane, you can punt for a long time. I was like, yeah, I got like 2 more years left. He goes, no. Go put your numbers compared to what's going on, and you can punt for a long time. I did not know he meant for an entire freaking career. So I went from pissed off at RC to the fact that RC texted or called me once a month for 18 straight years.
Wow.
You know, and he reminded me of this conversation, you know, every time. He's like, hey, remember when I told you? I'm like, yeah, I did.
I just want to say when the time comes and you're up there giving a really nice speech, I hope you tell that fucking story.
Oh, I will. No doubt. No doubt. And I hope RC is there too. I do. I hope he's there because I was so pissed off at him. And he knew it too. He was like, no, relax, Shane, relax. I'm like,
so where were you? I think you're probably a lot like me. I damn near enjoy playing on the road more than I did at home. Like I have fun with opposing crowds. I get more going when I'm at home. That's way too fucking comfortable, right? They tell you get off the couch and get uncomfortable. I like being in the post. Both levels, college and in the NFL. What was the best atmosphere period to play in?
I got a great story. Let me grab a beer. I got a great one.
Oh, that's the greatest answer I've ever heard.
Shit, I'm getting a beer too. Then I'm
Shane
getting another
Leckler
party.
said, I've got a great story. Oh, nice.
Oh, that was quick. That was
Fantastic.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Absolutely. Oh man, that's the
So,
first
can you
beer
hear me?
break.
Can you hear me?
Hang on.
Oh,
Let's
yeah. Let's hear it. Where was the
okay,
best environment?
Another beer too.
All right,
You
Chance
got
got
a
his
cool
beer. Here we
bar.
go.
You got a cool bar in there. I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're playing by far the best atmosphere by far, and I'm not saying this because these cocksuckers just won it again. Playing at Arrowhead in Kansas City is by far the closest you can get to playing in college football. So I got to do it once a year forever when I was with the Raiders. But one time, I got a good one because we were down there. We were driving down, and Janikowski was like a sniper there, man. He could make it any last-minute field goal. He could make it at Kansas City, no doubt. So we're driving down, and Rich Gannon. This is the year Rich Gannon won the league MVP. This is the year we went to the Super Bowl and got beat by Tampa. But we go down and we're driving, and this big lady. So there's no room really from the sideline to the bleachers. And so the kicking net is like really fucking close. And he's left-footed, so it really put his ass like right up because we're going north. So like he's really up close, you know, like he's standing right there. He kicks a couple of balls. I was like, oh fuck. This lady just got some brand new chili cheese nachos.
Uh-oh.
No, she was a bigger lady, and
the skinny ones don't usually order chili cheese nachos, just for the record.
So we're on the home team. I mean, we're the away team, so we got on white jerseys, right? We got on white jerseys, and he's already he dipped snuff the whole time. Like I never kicked a football in the entire NFL without dipping snuff in my mouth. He never did either. So he doesn't know how to spit though. So it's already on his fucking jersey, like all dripping down. This lady grabs her nachos and just fires it at him, and he hit him like right underneath the chin. And it's slow, like as slow as you can imagine. Just very, and the clock's at like 46 seconds. We got one timeout, so now he's yelling at the equipment crew, "Bring me a water bottle, water!" And he's like trying to squirt it off, man. It's fucking yellow and cheese and chili all the way down his pants. Then we drive down the field. We get to like the 40, the 35, whatever. We stall out. We get third down. We're down by one. He fucking smashes it right to the middle. Boom! I go to give him a high five. That motherfucker gone. He ran right back there. It's like, fuck you.
Chance, you know about running to the opposing sideline and doing that, don't you?
Back then, they didn't have like cameras like everywhere. So that guy's like trying to follow him, and he's running. The guy gets right behind him, like,
Wow. See, we were going to ask for a Janikowski story, and it just kind of came up naturally. That's unbelievable.
My next question was, it just said Seabass go. Like that was going to be the question. Go.
Oh, yeah, dude, that guy was so amazing.
So how
One
long
of my
were you?
best friends ever.
Yeah, how long were you guys together? Like 10? Was it 10, 12 years?
No, we were there together 13.
Good grief. Okay.
So we came in together. We were we come in together. he was drafted first round. First round. I was drafted 5th in the same draft.
Yeah.
So we get there, and then we're supposed to be there for rookie minicamp and all this, but he had some legal problems, so he had to leave. And he went back to handle that, and then he came back, and we were roommates from 2000, and we lived together till 2003, and then we roomed together on the road all the way till 2010. And after your 5th year in the league with the Raiders, you can get your own room. I was like, because I didn't trust myself to wake up. I damn sure didn't trust him to wake up. And if he didn't wake up, it was my ass. So I was like, nope, we got the same room. And there were so many nights. He would call me. He was like, hey, mess my bed up. I was like, all right, I'll mess your bed up.
Mess my bed up.
Yeah, mess my bed up. Put some pillows under it. And I was like, Bass, they caught you. He goes like, tell them to go fuck themselves. If they need another kicker, they can go get one.
Oh my God.
Oh, we had some stories, man. That was some funny shit.
Oh, good Lord. And you held for him, and you held for him for his entire career with the Raiders?
His whole career. I held for him at the NFL Combine. And when I first met him was in 1997, the Playboy All-American in Phoenix is when I first met him. And we were together then. And then I think it was 98 or 99. We played Florida State in the Kickoff Classic at the Meadowlands in New York. And so I hung out with him there for just a little bit, whatever. And then all of a sudden, boom, he was drafted first round. I called him. I couldn't understand one word he said. So I hung up. And then I was drafted in the 5th. I was like, holy shit, we're going to the same team.
He gives me, like, have you ever seen the movie The Replacements?
Oh, yeah.
Completely different body types, but that's who he
slightly different body types. But if Seabass could have ever kicked with a cigarette in his mouth, he damn sure would have done it.
Wow. So you're saying every single kick we ever saw with Janikowski and you, both of you have dip in every time?
Every single time.
Okay. Did it help on holding?
You can look at this. Just zoom in on any picture of any time. And the bad thing about it is, we were rookie minicamp before he got deported, before he got sent back to Florida State for some legal stuff. He was like, "What are you putting in your mouth?" I was like, "Copenhagen." He was like, "Really? What does it do?" I'm like, "I don't know. Here, try it." And he turned green, threw up, laid back we're in just a hotel room with 2 beds, and he was like, "Oh my God, I feel like shit." And like 30 minutes later, he's like, "Hey, do you have any more?" Oh no! Because that's how I got it. Freaking Dan Campbell with Detroit. He was my college roommate. Dan said, "Hey, you want some?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I freaking threw up everywhere. And 30 minutes later, I was like, "Hey, Dan, you got any more?" Oh God!
Hey, BJ Johnson was on this show with us, and he was laughing his ass off telling this story because it's the same thing. He was like, "Mock, let me try one of those." It wasn't 10 minutes later, he was throwing up, and 3 minutes after that, he was asleep on his fucking bed.
He didn't ask for a second, though.
I'll tell you, it's funny you say you dipped, because I dipped in every game until Kansas State, and I tried to run a linebacker over. I still think I won most of that battle, but I stood up, and when my chin strap went up, it shot the dip all in my teeth, and I didn't get the first down, and it was on our sideline, and I stood up, and Matt goes, "What the fuck is that?" I had never heard him say the word fuck. He said, "Go wash it out." I was like, I guess I'm switching to pouches during the game.
Yeah, see, Chance, what Leckler and Janikowski knew is their chances of getting hit like that were a lot lower than yours.
Oh, if I ever got hit like that, I would be chewing somebody's ass on the sideline.
Exactly. So, Shane, you kind of answered a question I had earlier then. I'm going to say when you get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, is there a better choice you could make on who could induct you than Sebastian Janikowski? I mean, that feels like the answer, right?
I mean, it does, but, I love that guy. But, you know, kind of like we talked earlier, you know, I owe a lot. And I respect the man with RC so much, you know. If it ever did happen, and hopefully everything is okay with him and everything is good, I mean, I don't know how I could choose somebody else. I mean, that guy, he sat in my living room, recruited me. He came and watched high school freaking football games in Schulenburg and bowling and all these places and recruited shit. I came to basketball games. I'm like, what the there's better players out there than this guy. And but man, I don't know. I mean, he'll definitely be at the party for sure. Janikowski will definitely be at the party.
Shane, so is that the answer to, you sort of teased it earlier, when you were a kid, you wanted to play baseball at Texas and you wound up playing football at Texas A&M. What's the story there? How'd you flip?
Well, I really don't know. Like it kind of got down to, I think my sophomore year in college, my sophomore year in high school, we were playing down in Ganado, small 2A high school. We were 2A in East Bernard. And I hit a guy, I was playing linebacker at the time, hit a guy and tore my AC joint in my right shoulder. And I had just, that summer, went to the Reds. Like, you know how the Reds are, like, all these Major League Baseballs have these, like, tryouts, kind of like where you can just kind of go. And I snuck in because I was only 13. And then all of a sudden I make it, and there's only like, they're like, hey, we need you to stay. I'm like, oh, shit. All right, I'll stay, but I can't throw because I got to go throw my Little League game tonight. But I was throwing, you know, the big, like the big league distance, but I had to go throw 42 feet that night. So, and they're like, hey, can you stay in it? But the whole time when Ty was at Texas, and he was there with Zeke and with Roger and Billy Bates and all those dudes, man, that was my guys, you know, like I watched those guys, like I got Bates gave Ty his glove to give to me. And, you know, it's like, God dang, and he goes into the World Series, hits a home run, right-handed home run, left-handed that year. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is the only place I want to be. And I wanted to play baseball bad. And, I mean, I never played other than, like, Babe Ruth and, like, I didn't do all the select stuff that's going on now. I don't think we had it then. If we did, I didn't know about it. But, you know, I played like Connie Mack and Babe Ruth and all that, and did the Babe Ruth World Series deal up in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and all this shit. But as time kept going by, you know, Ty was a big influence in my life on how to do things the right way. And I felt like how the University of Texas handled Ty, handled all this, handled the championships and all that. It was very respected. I respected it big time. And I always said, you know what? I could play for Coach Gus any day of the week. You know, I mean, he was my kind of guy. You know, I only was around him a couple of times, but I always felt like he was hard-nosed, very honest. It's like, dude, I can do that. If that's all he wants is you to bust your ass and play hard, well, I can do that. And so, yeah, my room was painted burnt orange and white, and that's where I was headed until I chose football. Then the recruiting deal got a little different. And that's whenever Makovic was there.
Yeah, we can understand why you didn't want to go play for Makovic.
All right. Now, hang on, Shane Leckler. We're not quite there yet. Are you taking us over the finish line, or is the finish line, does it have, like, you know, police tape across it and we can't get over there? Like, what's the ultimate answer?
No, like, I mean, I always wanted to play both. LSU offered it. A&M half-ass offered it. Texas didn't. And then so I was like, all right. So I went on all my recruiting trips. I went to Notre Dame. I went to Texas. I went to LSU. I went to A&M. I went to Florida State. And when I walked in the building, Makovic was recruiting me. James Brown was the quarterback at the time. And he was like, man, we got a good quarterback. And would you like to play fullback? And I was like, what Would I like to play fucking what? I looked at my dad. My dad was sitting in a chair, in a leather chair right in front of his office. Those 2 leather chairs. My dad's sitting right there. I stood up. I said, Mr. McAfee, I appreciate it. I won't be needing my hotel room tonight. And,
Whoa. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Yep, that was the end of that story.
There it is.
I could tell you sometime offline. My dad had a very similar recruiting trip, but it was with a guy named Daryl Royal. And that's why my dad ended up at Texas Tech, which is funny that I was born in Lubbock and look where I am today.
There it is. All right, boys. Anybody else got anything for Shane Leckler before we let him go tonight?
I had one more.
Wait,
come on, bring it. I got nothing but beer here. Let's
wait,
go.
before Bo gets to a serious question, I've got to ask because I'm a Buffalo Bills. I'm a Bills Mafia, Bills fanatic. Did you ever have a chance to punt in Buffalo?
Oh yeah, I punted up there a couple times.
What do you think about my Mafia family up there, man? Come on, be nice to us.
It is badass. When you roll in there, it's old school. The stadium is old school. Everything's old school. When you come in on the bus on the outside corner, whoever's sitting on the right side of the bus is just eggs going pow, 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 pow. And then there's tables being broke. As soon as you come by, they all jump off their cars on the tables like in front of you. It's awesome. Go. If you haven't been, go and just
I take my son every year for Christmas. That is his Christmas present. I take him up there. We with the first one we went to was a snow globe game, and the boy, he grew up in Texas. He doesn't see much snow. He was like a kid in a fucking candy shop, dude. He made little, we got no bullshit. We got 32 inches the 24 hours before the game. And we get to our seats and he's making a snowman out of the snow in our seats. I mean, he's just having a freaking blast.
That's awesome. See, like, I don't want them to build a new stadium.
It's
like,
still
some
open
people
air.
need to start keeping their shit the same.
It's still open air.
I know, but I mean, I like the old bowl up there. It's not punter friendly at all, but I don't punt anymore, so I don't give a shit. I like the atmosphere.
I know. You saw what happened to Martin this year. He tried to punt and run down a guy, and next thing you know.
Yep.
Oops.
Bo, what do you got?
Well, so Shane, from the first time I met you, which was dating ourselves now, I want to say 25 years ago, at a house that I owned, you came up to visit some of your friends from East Bernard during a week where you were practicing, and you showed up with a 12-pack of Miller Lite. And we're like, don't you have practice? And you said, well, coach told me to kick a couple and then I'd get the hell out of here. So you showed up there, and we had this massive tree in our front yard. And I don't know if you remember the name Daniel Webster.
Oh, yeah, I know Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel was my roommate at the time, and we had a way that you couldn't kick it over. You kick it A&M. We were sophomores in college or some bullshit. He goes, he'll kick it right over that tree, then he'll throw it over that motherfucker. And sure enough, you pop a beer, put it right over the tree, then throw it over the tree, drank the 12-pack, said, I'll see y'all next week. Took off.
Go ahead, I got practice the next day.
Yeah, exactly. My question is, though, watching the NFL now, because I think your career, no bullshit, deserves – J.J. Watt said it on the Pat McAfee show. Pat McAfee agreed when J.J. was asked who the most NFL Hall of Fame worthy player he played with was, and you were his name. He said, by far, the guy that had the most talent at his position was Shane. But the question is there anybody you see kicking now that you see as a punter that you consider an equal to the you and the Ray guys of the world? Because there aren't many that are in the club that you're really in. I mean, you average 47.3 a kick. Yeah,
I mean, there's a few guys. I mean, there's always going to be that group. I think the game has changed a little bit. The guy you guys had in Texas is in Seattle. That's something that's got a live leg. You know, like he's going to put up big, big numbers, and he's kicking in the worst stadium to kick in. I mean, you know, like he's going to put up big numbers. You know, there's always. I think it kind of goes in waves. To be honest with you, like there was Ray. And then there was me and Mike Cyphers and you know, Brian Moorman and all that whole group. Now this whole group is battling, and then they play the game a little bit different than I did. they're big time, hang time guys, worried about their net. Not me. I'll fucking bang that son of a bitch in the end zone all day. But like, they just do, it's all different. But, like even McMahon or whatever, that was at A&M that went to the Jets, and now he's in Philly, I think. Like that guy, when he came out of college, he was probably the next best thing. And all of a sudden it just kind of tapered down. So it's hard to say who the next like breakout real guy is going to be, because I think when I left the game, it was a different era. I mean, we're talking, it's only 7 years ago, but I think it's a different group of guys now. And I still appreciate what they do, but sometimes they're too fucking careful. Like their coaches are on their asses so bad about put the ball inside the 20. These motherfuckers are kicking on the 18 or 19. Now, when I was told to kick inside 20, I'm talking about the 1 and the 2. And if it went in, fuck it, it went in. But all of a sudden, that one time it doesn't, you're on the 1 or the 2. Just like in the playoff game the other night, the Detroit game. That guy hits a fucking banger, and it bounces straight up, and all of a sudden they kick it in the end zone, and they step on the line. If they don't do that, that game's different. And if Dan doesn't go for it. But that's just how that goes. Like there's guys that I was a big time risk reward guy. These guys are, let's please everybody. Let's put it inside. Let's put it on the 18 and everybody's gonna give me a high five. No, we were different back then, I think. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I even answered your question, but my thing is I don't really have a name for you, because when I watch these guys, I'm like, dude, why didn't you push that envelope further? And then if you don't push it further, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to remember your name.
Well, no, I think you got the name I was looking for without insinuating it when you mentioned Dixon in Seattle, because I think he's got an incredible amount of talent.
Imagine putting Dixon in Houston in a controlled environment.
Dude, if he didn't have to kick such a heavy football every time. Put him in Houston, put him in Dallas, put him in, God forbid, don't put him in Denver. He'll blow every one of my records away. Don't put him in Denver. That shit's easy to kick up there. You can look at one, it's gonna go 50.
Hey, I watched that guy win a damn.
Put him down in New Orleans, somewhere where like a defense, like
how good of a punter do you have to beat him?
Man, that's a guy I'm looking for. As soon as he hits free agency, I'd freaking cut him a check.
Yeah. I mean, he won MVP of a bowl game. Now, one that's indicative of how bad the offense was that day, but he won MVP of a bowl game based on his punting.
Hey, I'll tell you, today I was talking to my buddy Tillman Holloway, who played offensive line for us at Texas, and we were reminiscing about the game that I got benched, which was a whole lot of fun to talk about. But he was like, yeah, well, you know how shitty it was after you left the game? I got offensive player of the game. And I was like, well, at least I got that going for me, bro. Appreciate you.
Awesome. You're welcome.
That is fantastic. Jason, you got one more for Shane?
Do you have a great Dan Campbell story for us? What, you guys were college roommates? Surely you got something on Dan.
How much time you guys got?
All the time. We'll rip the clocks
first
down.
I'm going to talk really good about him. One of the best human beings I know. There's no act. Everybody thinks that his antics and his bite their kneecaps off and all that shit. There's no. I just had a pop up. My kid's chemistry grade.
How'd he do?
How'd we do?
Open today.
It's 95. It's good.
All right.
So
Hey, you know
it's not like he doesn't. That's him. He's fucking crazy. I will say that. But do I love that guy? Oh my gosh! If there was one phone call I had, it's going to him. And I will tell you this: when Dan was, oh shit. I don't think I can say this on here.
Yeah, of course. Nobody watches this. Don't worry.
Y'all remember the '98 bonfire?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever he said what he said, and he had to apologize to the president of the University of Texas before he could play?
Oh wow, I forgot
y'all might
that.
just look that up. Just leave this out.
Oh my, I forgot that. I don't
Not
remember.
me.
what
I
he
He's
said.
my
hadn't thought of
roommate.
that, but Dan was. I remember the statement. It was Dan that said that.
Mhm.
I forgot that.
He gave it a
Dude, I
good long
forgot
sip.
that was Campbell. I totally forgot that story. Is it
So,
true, Shane? I
anyways,
don't.
let's just leave that alone.
Yeah, we might want to
Um,
leave that alone.
He
Now,
he went to, where were we? We went, so when they called me to do like an interview about him, and I fucked the story up because it was Steve McKinney that actually did it, and I thought it was Dan, but Dan was with Steve when it happened. So we had a Texas recruit in, and I say his name, and we went to a party, and Steve was driving, and the guy, so it's Steve sitting, he's driving, Dan's on the window, it's a single cab Chevrolet truck. So there's recruits in the middle on a stick shift too.
Wow.
And then they said, like, hey, you going to come to Andy? He was like, no, I think I'm going to go to Texas. And it was an out of the city limit party. Kind of like, so they just pulled the fuck over and asked him to get out, and they just left. Hey, and I thought it was a joke. I thought they were going to say, yeah, and then we went back and got him.
Wow.
And never saw him again.
Oh my God. Somewhere on the outskirts.
Yeah, just
Somewhere
somewhere
by
out there.
the Rebel Cafe in Hearn, there's a recruit at 2 in the morning.
I think it was
a
fucking Task Hearn.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh,
He was
so-
probably walking by deer feeders and deer stands all the way home.
Man. Shane, I'd forgotten this. I was reading through the bio. Is it true you threw a touchdown pass to Dan Campbell on a fake field
I
goal?
did. Yeah, and Dan talks shit about that pass. He always is like, oh, it was, like you read back through all the bullshit. Like I just did it the other day because somebody's like, hey, you threw a touchdown pass. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to look that shit up. It was against Texas Tech at home. And Dan was like, oh, it took forever for the ball. I was like, motherfucker, I'll put it right on his chin like that. But he wanted to just talk shit because I was his roommate. And the cool thing about Dan is I will request him to be on your show. But Dan, whenever we went to college parties or we hosted parties at our house, which we had no money, his parents had no money, my parents were teachers, we had fucking no money. And whatever our per diem was is what we spent. So Dan could always buy a handle of Jim Beam. And it was just Jim Beam. And he would just go, pop the cork and throw in the trash. And he would fucking walk around and pour in everybody's mouth, and he would drink all. And you couldn't go to bed until it was gone. I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious? It's just me and you and half the bottles left. This is gonna be terrible.
That's so much better than
Hold
my
on, one
Shanahan
more.
story.
I gotta tell you. So we go to fucking Metallica concert. All right, so Dan does that shit one night. I got one more beer.
One more
Hold
beer.
on.
There's a Metallica story coming from
we
Shane
will extend
Leckler.
for him to tell a Metallica Dan Campbell. And Chad, you got to ask him to get us Dan Campbell, Aggie to Aggie.
This is
So anyways,
greatest lead-in ever.
We have this party this night, and like everybody comes to our house, and we know we're getting thrown out anyways. But the good thing is the house that we were going to get thrown out of, or the apartment, was still under Steve McKinney's name, so it didn't really fucking matter to us. But we were going to get asked to leave. Anyways, we knew that. So we had a big party, and we had trash can punch. And when I say trash can punch, a real trash can punch, like a fucking whole trash can. And somehow about midnight, there's like no drywall left in the house, and there's the trash can punches all spilled over. We have to go to a Metallica concert the next morning. He bought all the tickets, him and his brother Daryl. They bought these tickets, and I'm like, fuck, I feel like ass. I'm like, you just sweat all night, and you're like, dude, I just want to eat Taco Bell and do nothing. Anyways, we wake up, and he loves Hetfield and Metallica. That's his jam. I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks. And he finishes the bottle of Jim Beam, and we get in the car at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to Woodlands Pavilion and he opened another one on the way.
Oh.
And we have seats that are only like 8 rows from the thing. Mind you not, my head wants to pop out of my hat so bad. I just want to crawl. I just want to be home. Like, you know when those nights you just want to be with your mom, just those mornings where you're like, dude, I just give anything for a biscuits and gravy and couch time. I'm in a Metallica concert. It's fucking horrible. So, anyways, I go through this and we do the whole concert. And man, he's up there and he has long hair at the time. He's like headbanging. I'm like, I'm dry heaving. He's headbanging. I'm like, dude, let's go the fuck home. And finally, the concert finally ends and we're on our way back. And he's like, man, did y'all love that? I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. So, come to find out, Robert Gallery, who was drafted from Iowa to the Raiders, first pick overall, is really good friends with Hetfield. And so I get to go to a dinner with him way before Dan ever met him. So I'm sending pictures, and he's like, asshole, you didn't even fucking like him. And then we go have dinner. We were in Tahoe. We go have dinner with him, do all this shit. It's fun. And Hetfield, I saw, was on the sideline in Detroit this past year. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I wonder if that ever came up. Oh, shit. I really didn't like that motherfucker. I mean, I love the music. I just didn't like it right in my face that morning.
You were in a condition where Metallica was not optimal. That's not.
I mean, it was not. I mean, You couldn't. No one in their right mind would have did what I did. Like everybody would have opted out. Instead, I was just like the road dog, and I felt like battered dog shit when it was over.
All right, so Shane, since you brought him up, the plan that brought us you as an interview is Bo's idea for a guest snake, where one guest tries to set us up with another guest. Ty Harrington set us up with you. So you just talked about Dan Campbell. You told some Seabass stories. Like, could you set us? I know he's a big time coach now, but could you get us Dan Campbell as a guest, or is that even possible?
I'll do my best to get him as a guest for you guys. God dang it. Good luck. Put your seatbelt on. It will be longer than this one.
Okay.
Hey, we'll block a night.
Yeah. You tell him how much fun you had. You tell him we let you just get up and grab a beer and come back and take your time and see what happens.
Can I make one request, though? Just one little request. Can we have Shane back? Because fucking A, this is fun as shit.
I'll definitely be back. No doubt. Y'all let me know. Text me, call me, whatever. Let's go to the ranch. We'll do one. We'll host it together at the ranch.
I'll split the Wi-Fi with you for one.
I'll bring a mobile hotspot to spend a night at the
That shit ain't gonna work, bro.
You guys don't want it. You can't handle the truth.
Oh man.
Hey,
we'll get Ty and we'll handle all the truth.
Speaking of the truth, Shane, I got one more for you. Since you started everything by showing everybody that upside down Longhorn on your wall, I got to ask you, because you were getting started about the time I was finishing up at A&M. I grew up an Aggie my whole life. I wasn't taught that. It wasn't at school around me. When do you remember upside down Longhorn happening? Because my God, we do it all the damn time now. When did it start, man?
You found a way to stump him, Chad.
Thanksgiving 1994, Leland McElroy returned a kick for a touchdown. Boom.
Was that the birth?
That's when I came to Texas A&M.
Wow. See, I do not remember that moment. So when
in the sleep, opening kickoff. I'm standing in the end zone as a recruit. Boom, kickoff to the north. He returned it 100 yards, touchdown. I was like, boom, I'm coming here.
And he did that in the end zone.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I remember it.
See, I don't remember that. That's wild. Okay.
Wow. That was a wrap for me.
And the real fucked up part at that point, I was a Texas Tech fan. And like I've said, in the state of Texas, I don't give a fuck what you are. On that weekend, you were either orange or you're maroon.
That's how recess is divided. I love it.
That's it.
And I was a Maroon guy at that time.
But Chance, you were just a Texas school whore. You grew up a Red Raider, then you committed to the Aggies, then you came and played for the Longhorns. And if you'd have got the chance to transfer, you might have transferred to Baylor.
The fuck I
The
would.
Baylor.
Hell no.
Bullshit. That would have never happened.
That's funny. That's funny because so Ty went to Texas. My mom played basketball at Baylor. My dad played football at Baylor. My grandpa played football at Baylor and then went to play for the Steelers. And my other grandpa went to play for Mississippi State, quarterback. So everybody went to Baylor except me. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to A&M.
Yeah. Right.
You and Grant Taft, no.
Yeah, it didn't happen. It did not happen.
Sorry.
Oh
buddy.
man, Shane, great stuff. Like Chance said, man, we'd love to have you on again. If you can hook us up with a Dan Campbell and these guys will allow another Aggie to come on the show, then we would love to do it. We would love to do it.
He's one of a kind, one of my favorites. I promise you, I'll reach out to him. I'll reach out to him for you guys and send you back a response.
Awesome.
That sounds perfect because Chance is going to get us Kyle Shanahan now that it's the off season. So we could have Shanahan and Campbell. Like we could have 49er Niner month.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. Little rematch.
I will say, and these guys know this, when they hired Dan, I don't give a fuck what anybody says about that first interview and everything else when they announced him. To me, that was the moment I said, Detroit hired the right fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he embodies the city of Detroit. And I'm in Galveston this weekend. See, I'm drinking my Galveston beer.
Oh,
Galveston Mardi Gras Blonde.
Yeah.
I'm down in Galveston this weekend, and I walk by, and I got my Bills shit on, and his family stops me, and they go, that would look a whole lot better if it had a lion on it. And I said, hey, I'm not leaving my Bills, but y'all got a good coach. And they said, we fucking love the guy. That was their words. We fucking old people, white hair. I was like, God damn, okay. And said, we fucking love him. I said, he embodies what Detroit is. So good on him. I think it's phenomenal for the city.
He is awesome. He cares. He gives a shit. That's all. You just give a shit, and he cares, and he takes that city on head over heels, and he is all in.
He gives a shit, and we are legitimately worth a shit here on the
Our show. Our catchphrase is "We're legitimately worth a shit."
There we go.
It fits in. It works well. All right, Shane Leckler. Thank you, brother. Take care of yourself.
Anytime.
And
See y'all
talk
soon.